Hello there and welcome to another My Little Podcast. We are your hosts. I am Bree. I'm here with my brother Bryson.
Hello.
My father Gary.
Hello.
And my mother Shelly. Hi. We are going to be chit-chatting to you about our most recent weekly peek, which featured some wall building. Garen and Ellie went to town on their master bedroom walls. Got some paint up there.
Oh, yeah.
And we had an eventful snowy week as well.
Was snowy.
Mm-hmm. So snowy.
I
even made a snowman.
Of a white.
A small one.
A small one
Christmas.
from Las Vegas.
It was so funny because Bryson sent out the snowman picture to me and my mom, and we were looking at, oh, it's so cute. And then I looked out the front window and saw the size of the snowman, and it was like this big.
It was like 8 inches
Just a
tall
little feather.
tops.
But it looked really big in the picture.
Like a big boy. That's great.
Snow.
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 We long
Snow.
are we there in snow? Shirley Yardley asks, how often does it snow there? And I would say that we get it a few times a year, wouldn't you say?
Maybe once or twice, maybe.
We have had it 3
Yeah.
times or more, sometimes I think for 1 year, but since we've lived here all these years, I can't remember any more than that. And they
Yeah.
were just light snows.
And
We've had some heavy ones, though. We've had some 6 inches, 8 inches of snow.
that was a
couple
really
times.
unusual year. That was
Yeah.
when we took down the hoop barn. But but normally,
we took down the hoop barn?
well, I mean, the snow took down the hoop barn.
Yeah, Jesse J asked, how much snow is a lot of snow for your area? And I would say, what was that, like 4 inches?
It was about 6.
6?
Yeah.
Dude,
And that was
Half a
highly
foot.
unusual.
Yeah.
Very
That was
unusual.
I
very
would say we
unusual.
get snow I really like probably once.
Probably a
You
couple
gotta
inches
remember,
every
we're kind of on the foothills of a mountain
Big
going
mountain,
up,
yeah.
so that's one of the reasons we get it too. If the snow gets down far enough,
We get sprinkled. Susan Lee said a bunch of wonderful things. Thank you, Susan. And then asked, how cold did it get? I don't think it got very
20s.
cold.
It wasn't
Upper
cold.
20s. It wasn't very cold.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It didn't feel
freezing.
cold, did it?
That's why the
That's the
snow doesn't
beauty.
last long out here.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. You get to enjoy the snow for a few hours and then it goes away.
17 degrees is the coldest I've ever remembered out here.
It doesn't
Fahrenheit.
Well, I put that time lapse up that day too, because usually what happens is throughout the day the snow melts, and so that's what the time lapse was for. But if you remember the time lapse, it didn't actually melt all the way that day.
No,
so
because
that
it snowed more.
it snowed more
It
that day.
It came in hot all day long.
The snow came in hot.
It usually doesn't last very long. Usually it snows, and then in the morning, it makes it to the morning. Then you usually can keep it a little bit, but then during the day, it just like pours down, melts.
I wish I could give credit to the person that had a text that I read about where we get our bags.
Oh, we get that question all the time.
We do. Let's again just kind of answer it.
Yeah, okay.
We have a link to where we got the bags in the myriad of videos. They were imported. We had them imported from a Chinese factory in China. And
Years ago.
Yeah.
Years and years.
Yeah.
Before we
so-
started all this.
Yeah. And we're just now using up kind of the last of it. And we will be needing to get some more. So
Yeah, the original roll of bags we got was from Superior Sandbags.
The first one. The
And
very
I
first
understand
one.
they're still in business, but they go by a different business name now.
Yeah.
So I thought we could start there. But
Yeah, a little research on Superior Sandbags on the internet, and you probably could find them. We'll have to do the same here pretty soon. Figure out where it is we get from. And Cal Earth is the other one. They're a little more expensive, I think. Personally, I've looked around a couple times, and they seem to be a few more pennies per foot than most of them.
Yeah, and once we purchase here, we'll definitely be sharing the link
Yeah.
too. So that
Yeah, wherever we decide to.
yeah, we'll look around, try to find our best deal. I don't know if we'll find as good a deal as we originally did there.
Yeah,
but
that was like 15 cents a foot after we were done buying it. And then we sold off a few and traded off a few bags, so we got some bonus rolls.
Yeah.
So we got some bonus out of it to kind of help pay for the whole thing. So It didn't seem that hard, though, did it, to import stuff? Like that much?
Wasn't it where it was raining really hard when they were trying to deliver it? The semi truck got stuck on the road? Or
that
was
was
that
a different
time?
That was something else we ordered
Oh,
because
okay.
we actually went and picked up with the flatbed trailer the rolls
At the end of the road, right?
not at the end of the road. We actually went to the shipping area where they delivered to
They
us.
have agents that you have to have representatives in each one of the kind of the places where the bags stop. So you have an agent in China, you have an agent in LA area typically, because that's where the boat comes in. It has to be all inspected. It has to be, sometimes it has to be x-rayed. And then once it leaves there, another agent picks it up and takes it out to another agent. And each one of those agents had fees, remember? We had to pay all these different types of fees before we could come and pick them up. That's the way business is done. When you're
yeah,
importing.
and we were up in the air, and so was the guy in China that we were in contact with. He was so fun. He'd already seen some of the Earthbag buildings we had done because we had Breeze done, and he was really a lot of fun to talk with, and he was on board with what we were doing. Yeah. But he didn't know what kind of fees we would experience when it got into the United States. So it was kind of up in the air, too, what the fees were. They turned out to not to be too bad. Yeah. But they got hung up there a little bit because it has to go through Homeland Security. And they were like, what are you using the bags for? And first of all, when the question came, I remember you answered kind of what they were, that they were these tubes and they were poly, whatever they're made out of. And that answer wasn't good enough. So they came back and asked again. And then that's when you said, we're making houses out of them. And then it was like, okay. And then they let them through. Yeah. But we had a couple of times it got hung up a little bit there because we didn't know how to explain what we were doing at first.
And each little hang-up takes a week to fix. So
yeah.
It did take several weeks. After it was in the States, it took lots of time, I thought. More time to actually get it out here than it did from China to L.A. It was just a mess trying to sometimes get it to you. But once it finally got here, we just took the trailer out, loaded all 20 rolls up.
Yeah, and it was funny, too, because when we originally were paying for it, we go to Safeway to do the little wire transfer, and we're sending, I think it was like $4,000 we were sending for these bags. And you just transfer it over into China, and you don't even know. It's like, well,
there's $4,000.
There's a risk. We don't know if it's really going to come. I mean, we just sent that money. There's no way to get it back. Anyway, that was kind of scary, too.
It don't work, though. That was really cool. That's how you can get bags. You can't do the importing. There's plenty of manufacturers in China now. There's not any manufacturers in the United States that make that in this.
Do you think there is now, though? I know manufacturing has
increased
here.
At the time we were looking for them, that was the only place to get the polyweave continuous bags. So there may be some places now that are making it.
Yeah, it'd be fun to find someone in America who's.
I wonder how you make it.
Neat.
Well, it's a weave. It's a weave. I don't know. It's less than an eighth inch.
Get the string and then have some weaving machine that weaves it.
And they're basically just sandbags that just haven't been chopped up into sandbags yet. You know, so we just got to get them before they
get chopped up in sandbags. Oh.
So they're either sandbags or they might hold other materials too, but it's a bagging material for bagging whatever. And for us, it works really great for putting sand and dirt and whatnot in them. And
so that's how to research them, by the way, is find bag companies, people who produce the bags. That's where you want to go because you want to get before they start turning into bags.
Chopped up bags.
Yeah.
I was on YouTube yesterday looking at a guy and a gal that are putting together an Earthbag structure, and they just had the regular 24-foot, 20-inch bags wide, like a feed bag, like the feed bags. They were similar to that. And they were just filling those one at a time, and putting them around rather than having continuous. So you have options. You can sometimes find deals on
a
bags.
Bunch of small ones.
Yeah. So pay per bag, but I would measure by foot because everything is lineal feet. I mean, those 20 rolls we got was it 20,000 lineal foot?
I can't remember.
Roll?
Yeah, per roll. I mean, they were big, almost 4 feet.
And the bag's flat, so you could get a lot.
Yeah,
rolled in.
So and heavy. You couldn't just two of us pick one up and put it someplace. You had to roll it wherever we went.
Yeah, and it was a big project. I remember moving the roll was like, where is it going? Because it's not moving.
I will say too, when you're
Too bad we didn't have Skidder.
When you're stuccoing it, to me, I would rather have as long of a continuous roll as you can because when you go to stucco it, when you have those connections, they're large. So your stucco work gets to be a lot. Every time those bags connect, there's a divot in there.
We're finding an extra thing that we can do. You are tamping the sides of them. It's less that we have to stucco as well.
Make some more square.
Yeah, you think it wouldn't matter, but when you have those two bags coming up to each other, you have that little groove. So when you push the bags in just a little bit, it's less stucco you have to use, and that's why we've been tamping on those to kind of flatten that.
It does make a difference.
I wonder if you could build a bag with some sort of weave that keeps them square. There's actually like a crease there, so when you start filling it up, it wants to stay square.
That would be
cool. It would be really hard because everything would want to bulge constantly out because of the tamping. But it would be very interesting if you could design something like that.
Or maybe putting in a sleeve on either side of it, filling it with dirt, and then the sleeve will maintain some of the structure. But then it's more expensive.
And then you just take and then fold the sleeve in to roll it up flat,
and then it flips out.
And it flips out when it fills up.
I know. I think I think that we got, I think it was an email recently that we got about mesh bags where it's like netting. And
That's Hyper Adobe.
Hyper Adobe.
Yeah, with Hyper Adobe. And I think we've seen that. I don't know if you've ever seriously gone into doing
Actually,
it
that
or-
was
It's a
what we
different type of
wanted to
weed.
do.
What
We wanted to get a roll of that too. That's
does that
another thing we
work,
could look
though?
into. I think it will work if we have enough clay in our soil.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that would work really well.
Gosh, that'd be tough.
That's
to
like
keep
an
the dirt in
onion
there.
Cheaper or
bag,
more expensive?
like an
Keep the-
onion bag.
That'd be
just
hard.
Yeah,
got a
big
lot-
weave.
Dirt
Yeah.
in there, man.
It looks cool. It looks like when it dries, it looks like if you were going to stucco it, it would really adhere to that type of material really well.
You wouldn't want to rain. You want to cover that really good
Wow.
until you get it
destroy
stuccoed.
Rain
Rain
is
is
just
just
a polyweed.
deteriorate the whole thing.
Fall off a little bit.
The wall just goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't touch
It's
the wall.
melted. It's melted.
You can be in here, but don't lean against the walls. Why?
No
They're
touching.
about this thin.
No touchy.
Yeah, the type of bags that we have right now, it's nice to, even like the snow and the rain, all they do is solidify our bags even more because they
do.
get damp and, they're compacted even more. And so that's good that they get in through that
When it's a
polyweed.
straight wall.
Well, on the other hand, you get a lot of rain, then it's a problem. We would want to cover them because then it would start to move the wall.
And we've done that in the past. And then there are times when we haven't done that. So
Yeah. If
learn
you've
the
been
hard
with
way.
us on Bryson's building, we had quite a problem with that.
Too, if you don't touch it, you can get a little bit of rain, like the top one can get soaked. But if you're not going to work on it the next day, it won't really matter. But if you're going to work on it daily, you almost want to keep it covered if there's any rain, because if that top gets squishy at all, it'll be really hard to work on it.
Yeah, needs to solidify.
We do ours about
If
2
you're
or 3
working
days a
daily.
week. It's not like we get rain every day, so it's not usually a problem that we have to worry about.
So we just let it rain and it will
Let it rain,
solidify and be
less
just
less
fine.
tilling we have to do, which is awesome.
Now we don't really shovel much at all. Let's skitter.
Shirley Nelson asked what happened to Shae. We haven't seen her since Christmas.
Shae, yeah, I had a talk with her probably about 3-4 weeks ago. You may not know this about Shae, but ever since she was probably about 8 years old, she has been writing on a book. And it's just been a dream of her to write a book. The My Little Homestead was cutting into her time, her creative juices, so to speak, because she was having to get video to us. And I was realizing, this is kind of a burden to her. And we never, ever, ever want this to be a burden. If we don't enjoy what we do, then we need to go do something different. So I just told her, do not feel obligated to have to give us video. Go write your book. Go do what you need to do. Go, fly. This is what we want, right? We want to encourage each other. So she is breaking off for a while, maybe forever. I'm not sure. It just kind of depends on where it goes for her now, but she is going to be really focused in on that book. And I'm sure we'll be sharing when
she'll be back in now and then for little cameos and stuff. And when
absolutely.
she's here, it's like,
Sure,
hey,
yeah.
come here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what we do.
But as far as a regular, I don't know if she'll come back regularly now, and because she's got some wings now, and I really want to see her get that book done. She's very talented in that area, and she feels real strong that she needs to do this. So
When you're doing something that you're meant to be doing, you're just happy. You're doing what you love. And even though she loves videos and editing and stuff
Yeah.
as well, this is like her
And she's good
purpose,
at it,
baby.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's just so happy and just so into what she's doing. It's so exciting to see her just happy,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
it's fun.
So
You got to be doing what you love.
Oh, yeah.
Linda Awald asks, isn't it cold having a bathtub and a shower outside?
When it snows.
When it snows, yeah, probably. Usually do this in the summertime, I would think. Although I suspect the tub might be a wintry, possibly. I don't know.
Depending on how hot the water can get.
Yeah.
It depends. Probably.
Should
Should
be
be
a
able
hot
to-
water tank. We can get whatever the tank's set at. So.
Yeah, but
Might have to get a bigger hot water tank.
Can we put another one in?
It's kind of the one I was thinking of was kind of small. It would only half fill that maybe before it ran out of hot water. So I'm looking at like a lukewarm water maybe at the time you're done.
Dad, I was just thinking of putting a pot on the stove and just bringing water and pouring it in there.
Well, I asked you, remember when the one went out? I was like, can we put a smaller one in there? It was the one they had.
Yeah.
So it's the one we put in.
We could turn it up to scald. It has a measurement there. It says scalding, flesh burning.
Oh, perfect. We'll just turn that.
So somewhere
right
between
up.
120 and 130, I think, is the marginally safe
now you're
temperature.
obviously not talking about the solar
Fahrenheit.
one. You're talking about the one in the house.
Yeah, we're talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Linda, it's not. Especially if you're running hot water, it's not cold. I don't think it's
Yeah,
cold
and we
at
don't
all.
use it in the winter. We don't
Yeah.
take outdoor showers
You're like,
in the winter. No way.
it's 80, 90 degrees outside, and you're
There
out.
you go.
It's refreshing. It's a refreshing
Yeah.
place, and it doesn't heat the house up. It doesn't get muggy. It's nice.
This is the first time we've had a tub. Nobody's used it, obviously, yet. This isn't built yet. So
Yeah,
we don't know
don't know.
exactly how we're going to be using that. It is a jacuzzi tub.
It's got
It
the
actually,
bubbles.
it actually just dawned on me when we keep this solar there. We should have one for the solar hot water, one for the inside hot water tank, and then the cold water for the shower and for the tub. We should run a hot water line of the solar hot water line over to the tub as well, so that you could actually do a combination of the inside and solar, and it probably would get really warm enough for anything really.
Yeah, I think the key is warm water, though. For me, at least,
Yeah,
I like to
temperature.
have the warm.
Yeah, and even though this is a jacuzzi tub, it's not a jacuzzi. A jacuzzi has a heater on it. So you could put hot water in there, but it's going to, hot water is going to drop in
Yeah.
temperature. So I don't see it being a winter thing.
Yeah, probably not. It's a fun thought.
There are
though.
some brave people though that they go swimming in
Ice.
frozen lakes and stuff.
That was Ellie growing up. She just pop in the water. I'm like, it's so cold out here. You see my breath. I'm not dropping in there.
That actually, speaking of which, that tub does have a place for a heater
Oh.
that could
Thanks,
eventually be
Bryson.
installed.
Now we have to install one.
Oh, now
There's
that
actually
could be a game
a place-
changer there.
But we need
Yeah.
power for it, and me and Dad both were like, I don't know where we could get power. So we were kind of.
You've made,
But a solar.
see, they're griping about it too. They think a heater should be put in there.
I'm going to go let it out.
What we could do for power, Ma, is have a couple batteries, solar batteries.
Yeah?
And we wouldn't have to have that big a panel on it because we're not constantly drawing from it. And it could just sit there trickle charging batteries.
That would be cool. We got extra panels.
One of those would be fine, really. And they've
We
used
should
it more, put two
consider
on.
it.
but
That would really be, I think that would be really fun.
it just screws into the side somewhere.
Maybe one of the little panels we have, because the bigger panels are the ones that work
Yeah, maybe
nice
a
for-
little panel.
Dun dun dun.
Any
I
sort
like
of
that,
house.
It's all
Bryson.
coming together. Okay,
Sorry.
so I thought we would finish our podcast up here with this question by Green Dream Project. Is the podcast available on any podcast platforms? And the answer is yes. It is available on Spotify and iTunes podcasts. I think it's available other places, but I don't know what those places are. You know how you go and we're going through like Buzzsprout, I think is the name of the company that distributes the podcast. And they're like, here, have these 500 plus platforms. And I'm sure they go to those 500 plus platforms, but I don't know what they are. All I know is Spotify and iTunes podcasts. So anyway,
All right.
yes, the answer is yes.
Thank you, Green Dream.
All right, well, we really appreciate you being a part of our family, taking part in the conversation. So much fun. And we look forward to hanging out with you on Friday for that weekly peek.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.